terrorized a number of big celebrities when she was alive and performing comedy: Elizabeth Taylor, Kim Kardashian and Gwyneth Paltrow, to name just a few. But after her tragic death in 2014, could she be terrorizing again from beyond the grave? That's one possibility as to why the buyer of her Upper East Side previously haunted apartment in New York City is gutting the entire place. Is the original ghost upset about the remodeling, or has Joan's spirit showed up to pick on him about his weight? Joan moved into the Penthouse triplex in 1984. When she started her own renovations, she encountered a ghost named Mrs. Spencer, who claimed to be the niece of J.P. Morgan. She didn't say if it was junior or senior, and was the apartment's original resident. It's hard to believe the ghostly relative of one of the richest men in history would object to Joan Rivers gilding the walls, but neighbors warned her that Mrs. Spencer's ghost once tore off the heads of every cherub on a chandelier. Sure enough, soon after the renovations started, the apartment's heat went cold and electrical appliances malfunctioned. Her dog was constantly fussing, and workers felt eerie while renovating an old ballroom, prompting the building doorman to tell Rivers, "I guess Mrs. Spencer is back." Did she ever leave? Joan tried to get rid of her by calling in a so-called voodoo priestess, who said Mrs. Spencer thought she was still the grand dame of the building and didn't like the remodeling. Joan's apartment was exorcised and the voodoo priestess offered her services to other residents. Rivers said, not one neighbor refused. Everybody had a story. Which brings us to the next chapter. After Joan's death, the apartment was put up for sale and was recently purchased for $28 million by Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Fahd, who immediately brought in workers to gut the penthouse. Why? It could be the prince heard about Mrs. Spencer and wants her out for good. It could be he wants to show her how they treat grand dames in his country. That might be a mistake now that Joan and Mrs. Spencer can work together. Perhaps Joan has already made her presence felt and he's trying to get rid of her too. Good luck with that. Elizabeth Taylor never could. Is the Saudi prince better at dealing with Joan than Cleopatra?